I recently went on a solo backpacking trip through the mountains. It was the most challenging yet most rewarding thing I have ever done. It helped me realize the incredible power of spending time alone. And it's something I want to share with you in this video. The moment I stood at the foot of the Himalayan mountains, I felt a mix of excitement and fear. I was a curious young man in my late 20s, looking for adventure but also seeking something deeper. This solo backpacking trip would be the most challenging experience of my life. Yet, I could sense it would also be the most rewarding. As I set out, the crisp air filled my lungs, and the towering peaks loomed above me like guardians of the ancient stories. I had always dreamed of exploring the magnificent range, but now that I was here, doubts crept into my mind. What if I got lost? What if I couldn't handle the physical demands? Picking up my backpack and mustering all my courage, I started hiking on the well-marked trail. As I walked, the scenery was breathtaking. The vibrant greens of the valleys contrasted sharply with the pure white snow on the mountain tops. Soft rays of sunlight streamed through the trees, illuminating the path ahead. I could hear the distant sound of a river flowing, a sweet reminder of nature's endless music. The first few days were tough. I struggled with the weight of my pack. My muscles ached, and I longed for the comfort of home. However, I pushed through, driven by the desire to see what lay ahead. As I trudged up the steep slopes, I began to see other travelers. Groups of friends, families with children, and adventurous couples. They smiled and greeted me, sharing stories of their journeys. I felt a twinge of longing to be with someone, to share my experiences, but I also cherished my solitude. It was on the fourth day, at a high-altitude campsite surrounded by majestic peaks, that I began to feel the true power of solitude. I set up my tent, cooked a simple meal, and watched the sun dip below the horizon. The sky burst into colors, painting the mountains in shades of pink and gold. In that moment, I felt a calmness wash over me. I realized this was a rare moment just for me. As night fell, I sat outside my tent, the cool air brushing against my skin. I felt small under the vastness of the stars. Questions floated through my mind. Questions about my life, my dreams, and my path. In the bustle of my everyday life, I rarely had time to think deeply about what truly mattered to me. Here, in this expanse of silence, I began to reflect. Days turned into weeks, and I discovered the beauty of being alone. I hiked to places that took my breath away, each step revealing different facets of nature. I was alone, but not lonely. I began to enjoy my own company, finding joy in the little things. A colorful butterfly dancing in the air, a soft rustle of pine needles in the wind, the sound of my own heartbeat in sync with the rhythm of nature. One day, while ascending a particularly steep trail, I encountered a narrow ledge. Below, a rushing river carved its way through the mountains, and the roar filled the air. As I stood there, my heart raced, but a voice in my head encouraged me to go forward. I took a deep breath and moved carefully. Standing on that ledge, I felt an incredible rush of adrenaline, but also a sense of accomplishment. I was conquering my fears, one step at a time. On my last night in the mountains, I sat by a campfire beneath a sky full of stars. I thought about all I had learned during my journey. Solitude was not a prison, but a gift. It had given me clarity and strength. I felt like I had transformed, shedding layers of doubt and fear. I sang quietly to myself, a soft melody that echoed off the mountains. As I packed my gear the next morning, I felt grateful for this experience. I had come seeking adventure, but I found much more. The Himalayas had taught me that being alone can lead to self-discovery and peace. I had learned the importance of listening to my own thoughts, dreams, and heart without distractions. When I returned home, the noise of the city overwhelmed me at first. But now I carried with me the lessons from my solitude. I began to appreciate small moments of peace in my daily life. Taking a quiet walk in the park or enjoying a cup of tea watching the sunset. The power of solitude had transformed my life in ways I never anticipated. I learned to embrace silence and reflection, which were often drowned out by busyness. While I still enjoyed the company of friends and loved ones, I knew the importance of spending time alone. A piece of my heart now belonged to the Himalayas, and their whispers would guide me in everyday journey. That solo backpacking trip had been more than just an adventure. It was a turning point. I returned with my spirit recharged and my heart full of hope. I was ready to embrace life with a renewed sense of purpose, forever grateful for the mountains that had spoken to my soul. Thank you for listening to my experience. Do you have a similar experience with your solitude? Please share it within the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.